Welcome back to Waadaplaya retired out concussion sub series. Gujarat Titan just pulled off a jailbreak. Rashid Khan and David Miller from 13 for 3 to chasing down 170 in 19 overs. That was ridiculous chase. What was turning out to be a pretty boring Sunday. CSK fans had heart in their mouth all throughout. So we have Mithun with a new RCB jersey on. Vishak, who probably predicted CSK will win, but we'll hear as to why he thought CSK will win. And then Sanjay Dubey, welcome from London. How did you guys enjoy the second game, which we'll start with, which is Titans versus Super Kings?
Almost went to sleep, but Rashid Khan woke everyone up. So yeah, great game.
And Vishak, did you expect CSK to lose this badly? This was terrible. 13 for 3 Gujarat Titans. They were on their mat. I thought 50 all out they are going to be.
No, I thought Miller, when Miller was going, I think it would be a single-handed kind of, he would score around 50, 60, he would not get much support. And they would end up around 120, 130, 130, 140 at the max, and CSK would win by around 20 to 30 runs. So, but Jordan was the player of the match for today.
And संजय क्या बोलते हो? What would you tell Jordan? अजय पूछ रहा है, रहने दो बेटा, तुमसे ना हो पाएगा.
The thing is, two things what doesn't surprise me. One is KL Rahul getting 500 runs every year, and Chris Jordan going for plenty in the death over. So I don't know. I was fully expecting him to go for a lot of runs. It's just that rather than going for 15, he's gone for 25. And then even bowling the final over, yes, they trusted him to be the foreign player to get them over the line. But why not say Mahesh Chaudhary? They did not have anything to lose. So I'm not surprised that he's gone for a lot of runs. The only surprising aspect is that we've got a new finisher. Rashid Khan scoring his highest IPL score in a match he was captaining. So absolutely brilliant. Some of the shots. Incredible. Those flicks and those inventive shots, helicopter and whatnot, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, some really terrible tactics from CSK's perspective. I think I don't know, whatever it is. The spinners were bowling well. Jadeja's not completing his quota. Moeen Ali is consistently bowling only 2 overs. When Mahesh Chaudhary is bowling well, he's not completing his quota. And then you end up having Chris Jordan going for 50 odd runs in 58 in 3.5. That's pretty much the game. Everyone else has done their part, but they could have done a bit more.
Yeah,
There were
and
two left-hand. One thing which intrigued me, which Sanjay mentioned, two left-handers were batting, and Moeen Ali is taken out of the attack like immediately. I didn't understand what was the logic over there. And your spinners were actually tightening the groove. And Mahesh Deekshana had bowled very good 3 overs at the start. Why can't you finish his entire 4 overs on the trot there and try to get that extra wicket?
yeah.
I think there were some really poor tactics there. And after going for 20, 25 or odd runs in his previous over, giving the last over to Chris Jordan, I think shows there is complete lack of options for CSK. So yeah, that is actually a worrying sign, because I think they spent a lot on Deepak Char, thinking he would be the death over specialist, as well as their initial he would be swinging the ball and getting wickets, and his absence has created a huge void. I think they are also going down they just won one game, but I think they are also going down the road of Mumbai Indians at this point of time.
Absolutely. And Mithun, as a recap, right, Gujarat Titans won the toss and put Chennai Super Kings 169 in 20 overs. Fantastic 73 from Ruturaj Gaikwad, who got into form of 48 balls. And then Raidu scored 46 and Jadeja with the last minute 22 of 12. Was this a good score, Mithun, on this pitch? 170 to defend. Where did CSK go wrong outside of the bowling options? Did they fall short of 20 runs maybe?
Uh, so runs were sufficient enough to defend the target, as everybody were mentioning. For the CSK's bowling, what they have this year, they needed close to 190 to defend, because they don't have proper Indian bowlers. Basically, they missed Deepak Chahar, and they also don't have Shardul Thakur this year. So that made a huge difference in this game. Very happy to see Ruturaj Gaikwad scoring that runs when there is a lot of competition for the openers for the Indian team. He needed to come good, but still it's difficult for him to make it to the final squad for the World Cup. But he wanted to make some case for himself. That's why each and every game is important if you want to place him as a backup opener in the team. Yeah.
Absolutely. And from Sanjay, from point of view of captaincy, I mean, Jadeja visibly looked very frustrated on the field, understandably so. But and if you also see the last 2 overs, there was a team meeting between Bravo, Dhoni, and all. So I don't think there is one leader in Chennai. Is that also another problem outside of the bowling attack?
Absolutely. I thought the first few games Dhoni was running the show, and then Jadeja slowly started to have his influence. I think they are at an inflection point here, CSK, where I personally don't think anyone knows who's running the show, because I I see if the two left-handers batting, Jadeja bowled that over, went for two sixes, 1 4 when David Miller slapped him for those two sixes. If this was Dhoni running, I don't think he would have given Jadeja that over, probably, because Jadeja generally, you would see in the previous years, he's had so many games where he would only go 2 3. Not that it was a wrong option, but I clearly see Jadeja went for 1 6, and Dhoni's telling from the back, okay, isko chota mat dalna, don't bowl him short. So he bowls another loopy delivery, then goes for another 6, then another slow ball outside the off stump, goes for another 4, and then he bowls short, and that's the only ball that goes for 1 run. So I don't know. I think at the end, Shivam Dubey not going for that catch. Jadeja looked really frustrated, and for the penultimate over, literally everyone was having some input or the other. So it does look like captaincy is a problem. But having said all that, this was a game for CSK to lose. It's 8 overs, 48 for 4, 170. Any team will defend this, considering that all the bowlers who bowled well, only one completed the quota. Everyone else had a over at least in their bag. So it's just about how they manage their bowling's option.
And Vishak, Andy Handy makes the same point. I think Ravi predicted this game one, saying Jadeja is usually an outfielder, not in inner circle. And
Mhm.
we've also seen today when Bravo had an LBW and bat hit Rashid's LBW appeal, he went for third umpire review, and Anil Jain pointed out saying, "Can outside of captain players do so?" Is that another problem which we are seeing with
I
Jadeja's
think
captain?
definitely, and as we all have seen, it's not Jadeja who is captaining the side there. It's actually Dhoni. Jadeja is just giving his inputs here and there. And I think the CSK are mainly using this season to groom Jadeja. But this is not the time to groom a captain. You have to groom your captain outside your season, and you cannot, just like how Mumbai Indians are doing, just trying to give chances to players. And IPL is not a season to, the season is not to do that. You have to, by doing that, you also have to win. And here you are not to groom your captain, actually. I think that choice is actually not good, and Jadeja hasn't captained anywhere. If you see before this, and I don't see why he was given the captaincy for first place actually. So I
Yeah.
think that these are kind of baffling decisions which I see from the CSK management, and yeah, he seemed pretty frustrated. Even Dhoni looked pretty frustrated today. Dhoni usually is pretty cool. He missed one by, and he looked very frustrated after missing that. So it looks like when things are not going your way, even the coolest man can lose his cool.
Yeah, difficult times, Mithun, for Chennai Super Kings, but let's not take away the credit we should give David Miller,
Mhm.
who is supposedly a finisher, but he literally played 17 overs. So did he play well, or should we give credit to CSK worst bowling for his performance? That's what Kenny asks.
So no, Suman, I don't agree to what Kenny is saying. Is that however the bat is the bowling, you need to bat really well to score those runs. And Miller did play really well today, and he took that responsibility of a senior player in the middle order when Hardik was not there. So that shows his maturity. And he, that is not the first time that he has played such knocks. So he has played such knocks for Rajasthan Royals also in the past, or Punjab also in the past, and scored those runs. Very happy to see him back scoring the runs, and this shows what the support staff are doing back, and how much they are grooming the players and giving that support what they required for them to get back to form. Yeah, Miller deserved this. Yeah.
And also, Suman, this is again a player who would have gone unsold had it not been for 10 teams. He scratched around in the initial games, a lot of talk around, okay, let's get Wade batting down the order, get someone else to open. But 4 wickets down, this is absolutely brilliant. The only other knock I can remember is obviously that famous 100 against RCB, I think years ago, where he, similar situation, and he won the game for Kings 11 Punjab. But yeah, this is a brilliant knock. But that without that finishing touch from Rashid, this would have been in a losing cause.
Definitely. Actually, everyone was like Bravo. Everyone was struggling against him. The way he hit Bravo in that penultimate over. So those calculated shots, some of the flicks outside the option, the way it was almost like helicopter kind of shots. Those kind of shots were like breathtaking. Actually, the kind of shots he played. So I think Rashid Khan's innings actually changed the game. Even though Miller laid the foundation, I think Rashid Khan in those 2 overs, the 18th and the 19th over, completely changed the game on its head.
Yeah, I agree, Rashid Khan. In fact, I was worried when Rashid was trying to hit helicopter. I thought just rotate the strike and give Miller the batting. But then clearly, champion of Afghanistan, clearly determined to
And
show his captaincy.
we shouldn't forget he is batted at number 5 for Afghanistan previously. So I think he fancies himself as an all-rounder. He just doesn't get enough chances to bat. So
Yeah,
in most of the teams. So
One
and
important, so Rashid rotated the strike really well when he came into bat, and did not waste too many deliveries, so that it added pressure onto Miller. So he did that job really well there. Yeah.
and
absolutely,
me and
and
one of my friends were actually talking when Tewatia got out. Thing that Rashid Khan was doing initially was rotating the strike, and actually the way he played, the same thing Tewatia should have done, because Tewatia also can do the same thing. It's like if he had stayed till the end, he could have finished the game. That was kind of a mistake that Tewatia did, but Rashid Khan played very sensibly and finished the game at the end.
I'm just going to put one more stat before I let Ravi, give his reaction. So, of the top 4 scores for people batting below 5, David Miller is featuring in 2 of them, 101 not out and 94 not out in this game. Other 2 are Ben Stokes and Yusuf Pathan. But yeah, we got Ravi, just smiling Ravi here.
Ravi, that must be hurting. But what would you do
It's a resigned smile, kind of.
if you were to redo this defense? What would you change, Ravi?
First, we should have scored at least 20 runs more. That between 13th over to 18th over, I think for 5 overs we scored some 27, 28 runs only. That's where first our 20 runs were shot straight away there. After Ambat Raidu's wicket, we couldn't accelerate much, and 18th over of the match. See, 13 defending 13 is impossible. So with right now, in the way T20 is figuring, defending 13 runs is very difficult. That 18th over is much more crucial for us. And I was disappointed. I surprised with Jordan's tactics of bowling at 130 to 140, where the slower balls was difficult to hit for Rashid Khan. I was really surprised with that. I think 18th over is a crucial thing. But as I said in the chat also, our bowling looks, last match also I told you, though we won, our bowling looks disastrous. But you have to accept that in the season our bowling is bad. So we have to score 200 plus runs every single match. So to defend. So otherwise we'll not be able to win games. That is very clear. Unless otherwise we get. Jordan anyways. Jordan was the obvious choice of going in the 20th over, because as I said, person who I don't know whether Mukesh Chaudhary can defend 13 runs. Better bet was Jordan only. So, but I'm happy that RCB fans are very happy for the loss. Yeah, especially the person who's next to me is very happy. But they can be happy without any cups, and we are happy with our 4 cups. So, yeah.
And Andy has a question. I think you covered this on game 1 as well. Who is the real captain? Of course, this is not Jadeja. Is it Bravo? Because there was a lot happening. Is there anything to do with captaincy, or you just boil this down to not having a deep bowling attack?
Oh, whoever was the captain, I think they would have gone to Jordan only in the 18th over. He cannot. What can a captain do with if someone is going to give 20 plus runs like that in the 18th over? Whether it's Bravo or Jadeja or even Dhoni or whoever it is, it doesn't make much difference soon, because ultimately, as I said, it's only individual errors that costed the game, and individual errors are costing us the game every single match. So it's not. I won't blame Jadeja in this at all.
Yeah, and Sanjay, nobody ever gave Gujarat Titans in auction. They are sitting right pretty on the top. Today, there were some gaps which came out with Hardik sitting out. Do you still feel the team is balanced, or only the playing 11, which has been there, is the best playing 11 and they don't have the depth?
I think it's a fascinating story because of all the teams who've been formed in the auction, I and a lot of the people thought that Gujarat's probably the weakest one. But there are players who've been performing who wouldn't have done maybe in the previous year. Today, Hardik Pandya being absent from the team is effectively two players. So they've had to get in Alzari Joseph, drop Wade as well. But yeah, I mean, I've got still 10 eggs left. 22 last time. So all the eggs are on our faces because everyone thought I said at the start of the season that Gujarat would be the bottom of the table considering how weak their backups are, etc. But every time you have someone or the other putting their hand up, David Miller's won a game. You got Rashid Khan doing extremely well. Hardik Pandya winning 2 games, Tewatia winning games, Shubman Gill has done brilliantly well. So every time someone else has a off day, there is a player who's putting their hands up, and yeah, it's a great story for the IPL.
And Vishak, do you agree with it, or do you feel Titans are balanced and have the depth?
I don't think they're balanced because today you could clearly see in the absence of Hardik Pandya, they had to bring a bowler, not a batter. They couldn't. They had to weaken the batting and get a bowler in Alzari Joseph. So it clearly shows what we spoke in the auction. They have bought very good bowlers. They have a lot of bowling options, but in the batting department, they don't have the depth. So I think that is where if today it was only one person who's injured, it might be day where two of your batters might be injured. Whom would you go to replace? So this is the kind of problem they have. I don't think their squad is balanced, but the 11 actually, like, when they're performing, it looks pretty good. But I don't think they have the best kind of 11 or the best kind of squad yet. I'm not yet convinced, even though they're sitting at the top of the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Johnny Paul was also mentioning, I think, Ravi, you said another 15, 20 runs would have made this little more closer game. I don't know if you would have won it, CSK, but it definitely would have made the closer game for sure. Uh, so that's on Chennai Super Kings and Gujarat Titans. There was a double header Sunday. Let's not forget Sunrisers are on a winning trot, 4 games in a row. They beat Punjab Kings in the morning. Mithun, did you expect Sunrisers to win this game? I mean,
Mhm.
Punjab Kings looked weaker with Mayank Agarwal and Odain Smith not performing. Your thoughts on the first game?
Yeah, definitely, Suman. So I was expecting Sunrise to win just because they are on a winning row after winning three convincing games. I was expecting them to come good even today, uh, with with the batters performing as well as the bowlers coming to the party at the right time for the Sunrisers. I was expecting them to do well, and very happy to see how Umran Malik bowled today. Not only bowled with good pace, but also picked up those crucial wickets uh, for the team. And he looks to be a very good future prospect for the Indian team. Hope the team will manage him properly. Hope he'll not be the next. Might be another Varun Arun. Because Varun also, when he came in, he was bowling with a similar pace and aggression, but he faded away. Hope it will not be the case with Umran Malik. Yeah.
Yeah. And Vishak and Sanjay, how good was Umran Malik? That last over gave thrill, right? Forget about being a wicket maiden, but his bowling and his speed definitely gave me a thrill. What did you think? How his performance is getting
Definitely,
better and
that kind of pace is the bare minimum any tailenders would want to face.
Mhm.
And the last over, it was all tailenders who were facing. So nobody would want to face such high, very fast bowling at a ball coming at around 150 k's an hour. Nobody would want to face that, especially tailenders, because they are someone who just want to go away from the line and hit. They don't want to get hit because
better.
they are here to do the primary job, the bowling, and if they get hit, and they're not their main job is not batting. So any tailender wouldn't fancy facing that, and he made full use of it. He could have bowled short and tried to hit them. Instead, he bowled at the stumps, tried to get them bowled. Even the last ball, I think he went to get Ashdeep Singh bowled. Luckily, Ashdeep got a little bit of bat on it. Otherwise, he would have definitely got a hat trick. I think it was good, sensible bowling in the last over. But still, his first 3 overs, I think it could have been a little better. If you see, his first 3 overs actually went for 28 runs. He still has to manage that control a little bit. Yeah, he has very good pace. He's a raw talent. As I mentioned yesterday, if groomed well, he could go places. Otherwise, we don't want him to go like a Munaf Patel or somebody who was similar like this, having raw pace, and then became a bowler who bowled 125 to 130. We don't want him to go to that route. Maintain his pace. I'm okay if he loses around 2 to 3 yards of pace, not that much. But if he can gain a little bit of control, losing around 2 to 3 yards of pace, it would be great for Indian cricket.
And Sanjay, we'll come to the batting change of Sunrisers, but Harsha Bhogle had interviewed Umran Malik after the first innings in Hindi, and he said, "Sir, 46, 47 degrees temperature में bowling करता हूँ, so ये गर्मी नहीं है." So, I mean, coming from Jammu Kashmir, these guys are pretty strong mentally as well, not just physically. Is that probably one other reason why he generated so much pace? He was a tennis ball player, is also what I read.
Yeah, I think physical strength is really getting tested. Yesterday, we discussed Timal Mills bowling at 130-ish in that scorching humidity of Mumbai, whereas Umran Malik has not gone down in pace at all. He may be wavered, but pace is something you cannot teach anyone. So I'm really looking forward to how he can build on his performance in this IPL and maybe have that outside chance of joining the Indian team for the T20 World Cup or even ODI World Cup or even maybe Test matches. I'm really looking forward to that. One thing which I think is working beautifully for SRH is obviously the first two games they lost the toss, they were put into bat, they lost the games, but after that, 4 games on a trot, it's pretty much like similar games, 170-ish. They are chasing every time. You got Abhishek Sharma won one of the games, man of the match, then Kane Williamson, Rahul Tripathi, and today it was Umran Malik. So every day someone or the other is just putting their hands up. But yeah, Aiden Markram also doing very, very well, and Puran also doing that little role in finishing the job. But I think anyone who's going to be facing SRH, if they end up having to bat first, I think that will be the test, because the games they won have all been batting second.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we got Aditya joining in, who's of course Sunrisers support. So Adi, word on Sunrisers, how happy are you? This is getting better and better every game. I know you wanted them to close out in 17 overs, but what is your
Yeah,
thoughts on performance?
yeah. One can always wish for more, right? Because even after winning 4 games and losing two, SRH's run rate is like still negative. It's the third worst in the league because of the first horrible match against Rajasthan. But yeah, I was listening to Sanjay. I agree that batting first will be a challenge, especially because Abhishek and Kane start off so slow. So you might be setting like 160, 165, or 155. And if you see all the matches where batting first team has won, it's typically 185 to 200 plus, right? So that has been the template. It's tough to defend 160. Hmm? So that is one challenge, but you can't complain, right? You can't fault Kane for bowling first. Like he's won all 6 tosses, which is crazy. Like if you run the probability on it, it will be probably less than 2% to win all 6 tosses, right? So he's done the same thing on all 6 matches. It's not like he's done anything different. He's like chasing is better because Dew is there. You don't know which match Dew will come in, which match it won't. So yeah, all good so far. I'd say a couple of things to improve is once Puran and Makram was kind of set in, they should have tried to hit a bit earlier. So 2-3 overs before you could have closed out the game. And then the other aspect was last match as well. Kane took this gamble against KKR. Was he left the 20th over to like the weakest bowler, the fifth bowler, or like the fourth or fifth bowler, which was Suchit on that day, and it went for 17 runs, which was okay in the larger scheme of things, but it did go for a lot. Now today, also he took that same gamble. Umran Malik is not someone whom you bowl in the power play or the death. You just bowl him in your 7 to 15 window. But Liam Livingston probably did not like think it through. He ideally should have taken a single in the 19th over last ball of Bhuvi. And then if he was on strike for Umran Malik, I can see like 15-20 runs easy. Like Liam was in that good form and batting so well. And that 170 would actually have been tougher to chase on this pitch because it wasn't that easy. It had like it helped the spinners. It was gripping a bit. So yeah, it worked out today, but I'm not a fan of that 20th over, like your weakest link strategy.
But I think Vishak covered this point before you joined in. I think it paid off today for Kane. Yes, if Livingston or Oden Smith were proper form, yes, last over would have. But given that it was tailenders who the six balls they were supposed to face, I think with that pace, it paid off for Kane. But you're right, the quality side who's got strong batting order, we do have to look at
Right.
that
And
bowling.
one point, but actually, Livian Livingstone got out only because he was trying to take a single of that ball. If he
Yeah, he
was
didn't
trying to
hit it.
hit it, maybe he would have hit it for a boundary or something. He was trying to take a single. That is why it was kind of a weak shot, and he
Yeah.
easily hit it just to the covers and got out.
And like this I've seen, like Umran, uh, Indian domestic players or tailenders, it's going to be really tough for them to kind of face him, because he's got a good plan where he's attacking the stumps with players who are not comfortable with pace. So if you miss, I hit, right? So even the hat-trick ball, last ball, Ashdeep got back onto it, else it would have been bowled. So credit to him for being that accurate, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's take a look at the points table. Gujarat Titans are sitting pretty on top. So, Ravi, let's bring you in. Any chance CSK has to revert back into this tournament, or the season is there again?
No, but no, the CSK fan I always want them to do is I, they have chance. I won't write them off like Mumbai Indians. I don't write the Mumbai Indians off even now. Though a lot of people in this panel would have written Mumbai Indians out of the tournament. Uh, and if Mumbai Indians needs one big motivation, that is coming up the next match is against CSK. So next match is much more bigger. If he can beat Mumbai Indians, then we'll be on par with DC. Then see, it's a long tournament, so we cannot. I will not write off CSK and Mumbai right away. Uh, maybe who knows? It's a 10-team tournament, and that can be, fourth spot can be a big. GT will definitely qualify. Only 3 points, 3 wins needed out of next 8, right? They're going to play. So GT is almost qualified.
Yeah.
So
And Sanjay, with
yeah,
Rajasthan Royals, a game in hand, sitting pretty on six. So the top four race is definitely starting to heat up, Sanjay.
Yeah, I think you'd be a brave man to call out who's going to qualify, because at this point, literally a game dropping and a game winning here and there is going to completely change the table. Even SRH, as Adi mentioned, if they had gone a bit harder, maybe one game with a good net run rate, they'll be sitting on top. So I think unless there's some miraculous change that happens in Mumbai, I think Mumbai is pretty much done. CSK, I think their batting is clicking. There's just, just a little bit they are lacking in something or the other, and some error on their part, and is resulting in a loss for them. But I think Mumbai, CSK pretty much done. But apart from that, I think everyone's still in the mix. Delhi, if they win, they'll be at par with say Calcutta. If Rajasthan lose tomorrow and Calcutta wins, then you'll have 4 teams in 3 teams in point eight, 4 teams on point eight, one and one with point 10. So I think this is becoming more like a 8 tournament race with 9 titles, with the rest of the 2 guys who are very unlikely to qualify.
Excellent. Vishak, do you expect any surprises on top four? DC still has a chance. Punjab Super Kings or Punjab Kings, I would think, is probably going to miss out. They look the weakest of the top 8 teams so far.
Punjab Kings, I think it's a similar fate like last year. So I think they're lacking that finisher. Shahrukh, they are banking a lot of Shahrukh Khan, and he is not delivering in the finishing role. And today I think they missed Mayank Agarwal a lot, kind of not as a captain but as a batsman, definitely as a batter, definitely, because he gives that momentum at the top. And Shikhar Dhawan is someone who likes to play through and play long innings. Now with Prab Simran in, both were kind of similar kind of batters, and Shikhar Dhawan had to go big today, and that is why that spoiled their plans kind of. So I think Mayank Agarwal is a key cog in their lineup, and hopefully he would come back next game. But it looks like a similar fate for them. They have batting till around 5, and later, like, even their bowlers, they're banking on one or two bowlers mainly. Rahul Char is doing pretty well. Other than that, I don't see any. Even Kagiso Rabada doesn't look like his own self. He's bowling around. He's taking 1 wicket per match, and you don't spend that much for a overseas bowler to just take 1 wicket in a match. So I think Rahul Chahar, except Rahul Chahar, I think their bowling is not clicking. Harshdeep is doing well, but he is not picking wickets. Economical bowling is not required here. We need wickets. So
I
that is
have
where
to
I
say,
think they are actually lacking.
I have to say this, Vishak. I don't know what you're talking about. Rabada is in the form of his life. So that's it.
For what?
Whatever I've seen on Twitter, that's it.
No, but what Vishak is saying is not picking wickets that regularly, because if you remember a couple of seasons ago, I think he won the purple cap. I think he had 28 wickets or 27 wickets. He's not able to. He's not at his. Every time Rabada is like hot and cold, right? He's like your sine wave. So one match he'll be like super good, other match he'll go, then something fires him up, then he's like your greatest bowler or like amazing, and then he's going down. So,
Adi, you haven't seen that reel which Shikhar Dhawan posted.
Okay, I got it.
He's in the form of his life. It can't get any better.
Yeah, it is. And then Ravi, understandably, Jordan will go in the next playing 11. Would you bring Adam Milne or Pretorius if given a choice?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Sorry, sir. Yeah. So I'll bring Pretorius. Pretorius is an adamant who can just bowl with only one dimensional bowler. We need Pretorius. Pretorius should have played this game with the five. I don't know what was the selection policy between Pretorius and Jordan. Maybe Jordan can bowl a couple of new ball overs. Maybe that's why they thought Jordan is better. But I think right now with our new ball sorted out a little bit better, I think Pretorius will come into.
I think
I'm
Pretorius
more
did
excited
pretty
with
well as well, right? The
Yeah,
two
yeah.
games he played. I
He
was
did-
pretty
he did
surprised
really-
that you guys dropped him. Any particular
No,
reason
just-
why you dropped him?
So just because of new ball bowling for Jordan. Nothing.
Pretorius in that 200 Lucknow game which Chennai had lost, he had 2 for 31 in 4 overs. He was their
Yeah.
best bowler, but yeah, I don't know why he was preferred over Jordan. But yeah, as you mentioned, maybe new ball and death bowling.
But
Flawless.
one thing is for you to be happy, SRH is winning this.
What is it, Ravi? I missed that. What is it?
Mark this, SRH is winning the cup.
Winning the cup. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably are speaking out of emotion because CSK.
No,
lost.
SRH is winning it. I can see.
Fair Play Award Cup. And the Swiggy fastest
You-
delivery.
You-
Fair Play Award Cup is going to the bottommost team at the moment. So
Timestamp this. Timestamp this. They will definitely qualify for playoffs, and they have a lot of chance.
Qualification definitely looks promising, but
They have a
going
lot of
on,
chance to win the
they're
cup.
still-
I think a couple of things are still there for SRH to figure out. Is again Washington Sundar, if he's fit, that's like a super bonus. And also, I think they need to play like another spinner. They're going in with one spinner that might not work in the second half of the tournament. Like pitches are going to get more worn out. We are already seeing more turn than what it was in first week. So Shreyas Gopal, play him, try him. If he does well, then it'll be like that.
If I have to call out, to be
Ravi,
honest,
what are you here for?
Ajay PK is watching us. The senior is watching us.
Ravi,
Yeah.
what are we here for? We are here.
Huh?
What are we here for? We are here for win.
Next Sala Cup namade macha.
So that is every year. Every year is next year, right? That's been the case
Uh-huh.
for so long, right?
Next year is yours.
RCB is the only team which hasn't played well and still, won 4 games. Is what I feel. So I think they can only improve from here. I think
What-
you definitely don't discount them.
Sanjay, what did you say? Did not play well.
You rub the wrong place, Sajay.
No, I'm
You're
just
wrong.
being very critical.
No, yesterday also
We did not play,
Yes.
but results.
catch drop hua. The Dinesh Karthik's catch was dropped by Pant. Had that catch been taken,
It was a
Just
difficult. It was a difficult one.
it went into his hands. It was not easy, but
Oh,
again,
what match?
I would
It-
expect.
Mithun, the keeper is Rishabh Pant. He's the international keeper, India's number 1 keeper. I mean,
the bottom end
It-
got
it's not-
all too low for him. So
it's not dropped by Sheldon Jackson. Come on.
you can't. You can't
It is.
chance.
It is dropped. It is dropped by Rishabh Pant. Come on.
What I'm saying, Mithun, is ki for RCB, the upside is still a lot, whereas Gujarat, I think, is already peaked here. I think Gujarat cannot do any better from what they've been doing, winning games from absolutely nowhere. So I think from
Good.
that perspective, I think RCB is probably going to have a great run.
Well played,
Good,
Dubey.
good.
Well
You covered
played.
it up. Sanjay, you covered it up well. Good, good.
Well played.
Well played,
Well
Sanjay.
played. Excellent. All right. This was a good Sunday. Probably one-sided, but CSK gave that entertainment. Tomorrow is KKR versus
Rajasthan.
Rajasthan
Rajasthan.
Royals, which should again make the teams interesting. Thanks for joining in, Adi. Ravi, hard luck, man. Commiserations. Mithun, keep that jersey going. Vishak predicted CSK win, but he is not winning any Dream 11 points. And Sanjay Dubey, apparently you think RCB is not peaking yet. So maybe you have some answers for CEO questions later on. Thanks for joining in. Drop that like button and click on subscribe. And see you later. Ravi, hold up there. You'll win. Take care, guys. Thanks.
No, or if I don't qualify, also no problem. Next match we have to win against Mumbai. So that is much more
Thanks
important.
for watching. Take